Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. We are live with Reflect Live podcast. I'm Michelle and I have Andrea. She is the owner of Simply Better Food
Yeah,
Truck. Let me get that correct. And located in Springfield, Missouri. How are you doing, Andrea?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I am doing good. I'm so glad that you came on the show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
No. So we will dive deep. I have a video. I have a couple videos that I want to show, but the first one, let's start off this broadcast with this video. Okay, let's add it here.
Order for Lexi. Order for Lexi.
Oh, I think that is so awesome.
Uh,
Uh,
the
so
efforts I had to do to get on top of that trailer, I'm sure it was itself.
I bet. So tell us a little bit about, I when I see that, I think of like someone just starting a food truck, wanting customers to come up. I just feel like that you're at the beginning of a new thing. So can you kind of tell us from the very beginning? Have you always been, a food truck connoisseur? Have you always been in the industry?
No, I haven't even touched the surface of this industry before. It was I did not ever know this is what I was gonna do, but it's kind of like whenever you're little and they always ask you like, what are you gonna be whenever you grow up? I would never had that like, oh, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor, I want to be. That was just never resonating with me. So the weird thing was like I just always knew what I was gonna do was gonna be mine, and
Mm,
it was like I was gonna have my own business, but I never knew what that was gonna be,
mm,
and somehow I always knew food would be involved. Like that is just such a big part of everyday life for everybody, and the
Why are you
way I
so passionate about food?
just the way I was raised, like that is the common way to just be sitting down with your family and your friends. Just I would sit at the counter and watch my mom make dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever it was, and that was where we talked, and that's where my brother would be walking in and he'd join the conversation and dad would be there munching on some food, and like that's just anytime I think of a good memory, food's involved. So
Mm,
I knew I wanted that to be what I would do, and
mhm.
everyone was taken aback whenever I wanted to do this because I'm not too much of a cook. But I'll just put that out there.
So you didn't
Everyone
go to
knows.
culinary school or
Oh
anything like
no,
that?
no. I literally had this idea and then I started getting in the kitchen, and
Mm,
it was probably after I actually quit my job whenever I started trying making these recipes in which I'm not actually doing too much cooking in itself, but just the ingredients that I'm putting together and how simple they are, and I just want to share how easy it is just to have a good filling meal and it
mhm,
still taste good and it be good for you. And that was like the biggest goal.
mm. Well, let's look at something else when you're talking about making something. Let's look at this really quick and walk us through what you're making with this.
That's a variation of my sweet toast. So this specific customer wanted bananas instead of strawberries, which is super easy to do. But I currently used Date Lady chocolate date spread, and it is so good. And
Mhm,
dates, I feel like people don't really think about incorporating dates in their diet that much, and they
mm,
are so good and delicious and better for you than just adding like white sugar like a lot of us do.
mm,
So I just like straying away from that so that we can incorporate a little bit different foods like the chocolate date spread, but it's so good. It just tastes like chocolate. It's just sweet chocolate, and it's, provides potassium and magnesium and fiber and just more nutrients than just adding sugar. Really, sugar has nothing to do with any of our health benefits. So there's nothing that just plain old sugar is going to do for us. So just adding that, but making that chocolate date spread, adding some fruit and coconut flakes, almond butter, and cinnamon. I'll put cinnamon on top of anything. It's so good for you. It's really good anti-inflammatory and has a lot of benefits for you as well. So,
did you have diabetes or anything run in your family?
Oh, there is everything that runs through my veins. There's diabetes and cancer and thyroid diseases and anything that would scare you. It's running through. And that's kind of another reason why I wanted to do this. I was starting to experience some of those issues, and I feel like it is way too early in life to start experiencing any of that. So, but if you start looking at your diet and like what we're actually consuming and what ingredients are in those, it's super easy to see how fast it can happen.
Absolutely. Well, you said you quit your job. What kind of job did you have before the food truck?
I sold cars for about 5 years. I worked over at a Ford dealership here in town, so that was a good time while it lasted. It allowed me to do this, and that I'm extremely grateful for.
So you said you didn't go to culinary school. Did you go to college?
Yes, I went to Drury University, and I got my degree in history and a minor in entrepreneurship. So I finally am putting my degree to use.
Nice. So what inspired you to finally, you know what, I'm quitting the in sales industry. I'm gonna open my, like, what transitions you from quitting your job to this?
I'm someone that, like, as long as somebody gives me some sort of permission to do something, I'm jumping and I'm doing it. And as long as I can get someone else on board with it, I'm all in. And I had this idea. Actually, I went on vacation. I went to Sedona, Arizona, and I had one of the best strawberry smoothies ever. And I was like, dang, this would be so cool to have a place like this in Springfield. We don't really have a place like that, other than kind of like the big corporation places, who shall not be named, but we all know. But I had that, and then while I was there, I actually booked this appointment with like a soul healing therapist of some sort. Sedona, Arizona is supposed to be very spiritual. So I was like, let me dive into that. And this lady, I feel like she reached into my soul and like just showed it to me, held up a mirror to me, because she basically asked me no questions, but was like, whatever you're doing right now, like, you need to stop what you're doing and like start doing a little bit more for yourself. And that's all I needed to hear. I was like, honey, I'm quitting my job. That's it. That's all I need to hear. And honestly, that was the motivation. I went home and I told my mom, and she said that I wasn't insane. So I was like,
that's always a plus.
Go.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. And once I kind of have that mindset, I'm checked out, and I can't live my life checked out. So I just quit.
You just quit.
I said, I think I'm done doing this, and I went home. And I was so scared driving home. I was like, what did I just do? Wow. It was a very stable job, so it was. I was pushing away a lot in order to do this, but I'm very happy I did.
Did you already have your food truck at the time?
No, I didn't have anything.
I nothing.
Had my idea in my head.
You had permission and you had your idea.
Absolutely. And that's kind of like the next day I went to go look at a trailer, and then the day after that I bought it. And of course, with help with mom, since I quit my job, it was like, someone's got to finance it. But Yeah, that was no thought was really
Mm-hmm.
gone into it. I
Mm-hmm.
decided I was gonna quit, and then I was gonna full time, basically think about how I was gonna start up a business.
Wow. And I want to see. So let's look at. I'm going to share another video, and you can describe this drink for us. 1 second. Okay. What are you making here?
Oh, that's my hot lemonade. So
Mhm.
to make that, I actually use local bee pollen, organic honey, and then freshly squeezed lemons and hot water. Mix it all together, and it is such a smooth and sweet and warm drink. And
Mm.
it's one of those drinks that's so good if like you're kind of having a scratchy throat, or if you're not a big coffee drinker and you just want
Mhm.
something hot in the morning.
Mm.
That's gonna be a good one for you.
That's nice. What are some of the other what? Okay, a couple things really quick on that one. So you said that you use honey, local honey. Where do you get your ingredients at?
So a lot of my ingredients, if I'm not locally sourcing them,
Mhm.
is coming from either natural grocers, Mama Jeans. I will
Mhm.
use local providers. So
Mhm.
as far as like some of my ingredients that I use, like the Springfield Date Lady, she's actually based here in Springfield too. So I do try and make sure the ingredients I use are still helping local businesses. And
Hmm.
that's one of the reasons why the coffee beans that I chose was like super important to me too. Like I wanted it to be a familiar name for the people in the 417 area, and Mudhouse Beans is such a familiar name. There's
Mhm.
a few different locations. There's one downtown, there's one in Ozark. So people around know that. And whenever I first came to Springfield, that was like the coffee shop that I first went to. It was so cozy and
Mhm.
cute, and the drinks were great. So I just wanted to make sure that not only was I using local ingredients, but I was actually using local ingredients that I cared about too, to kind of push out for everyone else to care about.
That's great. And so I do have to say, since we are sending plugs out, which I love the plugs, they do not get, I do not get any monetary gain for mentioning these companies, but I am so honored that you mentioned them because I do support local and I really appreciate you mentioning their
Oh yeah,
names.
I get no gain either. I just love their products.
You're exactly right. What are some of your signature dishes or drinks that people come back?
The smoked salmon toast is a big seller. The smoothies, I was like convinced the classic strawberry smoothie would be the winner, but people are really liking the blue mango. That one I make using mango, dates, and hemp seeds. It's got collagen, and it has blue spirulina that makes it that beautiful blue color. So
Mm.
that is one of the big sellers that I have. Other than that, I have like my oat bowls. Those are doing really good in the morning.
Mhm.
That's a nice hot treat that's gonna keep you full for a long time. I use it making chia seeds and hemp seeds, and then you can add toppings, so it is very filling.
Mm. What's this one? What's that one?
That's my oat bowl.
Okay.
So that is the one
That
that I
looks yummy.
yeah, and it is like I said, I like to use familiar dishes, and
Mhm.
oatmeal. Everyone knows what oatmeal is, and everyone's probably had it before.
Mhm.
Um, Oats in itself don't necessarily provide like a bunch of nutrients for you,
Mhm.
but not everyone is necessarily just going to buy a bowl of hemp seeds if I tell you that's all it is. So I do incorporate oats, but I do mostly use hemp seeds and chia seeds whenever I make that so that it
Mm.
provides more nutrients. So you'll have the good omega 3s and your fatty acids and
Mhm.
um, fiber and protein that's added in there. And then
Mm.
on top, of course, you can add your fruits. And I'm a big chocolate person, so I'm like, I'm throwing chocolate chips on it anytime I can. But like I said, whenever you're just balancing it out,
Mhm.
it's all about balance. months.
Yeah. Where do you advertise and get your local customers from?
Um, so I have a really good marketing team.
Okay.
That was a big thing whenever I decided I was going to do this. I knew that marketing was either going to make or break me because it does a lot of businesses. So that was very important to me to make sure that I was able to reach out to professional help to do that. So a lot of that social media content and those TikTok reels and everything like that, all of those, most of them, I should say, are um, strategically planned, and there's a whole team that has strategy and analysis that I hired that
Nice.
helps me do that. And so they actually go through all the data and they look at the times that people are engaging and what's a better time to post and how many people are looking at it whenever they do this and everything in between. So I have a couple of amazing girls that help me out with that.
I love your videos. I get it from everyone every time one's posted. I love it. And where can they find your videos at?
So you can find me at 417 Simply Better on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. If you have a social media platform, I'm probably going to be on there eventually.
Perfect. And I just put in your Facebook link. So if people want to check you out and follow you and all that good stuff.
Yes.
What so we have those type of smoothies. What other, you said that you make small bites. What does that consist of?
So those are what I consider like my toast and my oat bowls, my acai bowls. I have chia pudding that I make as well. So like I said, just I want to incorporate familiar dishes. Like people know what pudding is, but if I just slap some chia seeds in there, I can actually make it a little bit better for you. It's just getting familiar with some of these new, not necessarily new foods, just like foods that we kind of lost in a long stream of convenient diets. So now I just want to bring that back to people. But yeah, I have avocado toast and smoked salmon toast. I feel like I forget half of my menu anytime I try and think about it, but just basically anything that I'm serving, it's not necessarily a full meal. Like you can go to a lot of food
They're just small bites.
Yeah, and you can get a full entree with 2 sides and I'll eat that. And I don't want a full people. You're gonna get a to-go box that's probably 9 by 6 inches, and that's gonna fit in there, and it's gonna be filling enough for you. It's gonna get you to your next meal, and it's actually gonna provide good stuff for you.
Ramona wants to know, what's the price range?
Oh, Ramona, I got stuff priced from $5 to, I think my highest priced item is 10.
Okay.
So
that's affordable.
Not a very wide price range. That was another thing I wanted to make sure that it was going to be, you can pull into Wendy's and decide that you're going to get like one meal and you're going to pay somewhere around $13, $14 for it. And like, that's the thing that was starting to get me. I was like, a lot of these fast food places aren't even cheap anymore.
No, they're not.
Expensive.
You're exactly right.
I wanted to make sure this was comparable.
Sure. She also wants to know if you serve scones.
I don't serve scones, but I love scones. I should probably start thinking about some different menu items, which I am having a new menu revamp coming out here pretty soon. But once spring and summertime hits, I'm planning on doing a little bit of renovation here in the trailer to provide me some more options so that I can do some more stuff like that.
Perfect. And then tell everybody where you're located.
I'm over at Metro Eats on West Sunshine. It is a newer location. I absolutely love it. There's my food truck plus about 4 or 5 other food trucks here. So if I don't have what you need, you'll probably find it somewhere else. We have the Warehouse Bar that's here too. There's the Mama Jean's Soul Food, and there's barbecue here. There's a lot of options, and it's a really good environment just to be around. There's also like another coffee and kombucha place, and it's, if you haven't had the time to check it out, it's pretty cool. There's something for everyone, that's for sure.
Yes. I have not had the opportunity to check it out because once we've met, it's been winter. And so as soon March hits, somewhere around there, you expect that I'm going to be over there.
Well, that's the cool thing about Metro Eats. So we are a food truck park, but there is some indoor seating. So there's the warehouse bar has tables, and you can take your food in there. They encourage it actually, so you can just sit down and enjoy the food without having to, if it's windy or rainy or cold or too hot. So that's
all type of weather you can go over there.
Yeah.
So I just had the stereotypes thinking that it's a food truck that you had to go outside and free. See, I just learned something myself.
Got to come by and check it out.
I absolutely 100% will. That's awesome. What does your new menu consist of?
Oh, so I'm going to be adding a couple of salad bowls to the menu. I'm going to give a bagel option. So my toast options that I have, I can sandwich it in a bagel for you if you'd like it to be a little bit more filling. You can do that as well. And my chia puddings, I have found that I like switching up the flavors. So I'm not just going to have one flavor. I'm probably going to do some seasonal options on the chia pudding. That's pretty fun to play around with.
That sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. I love chia pudding. So can you walk us through a typical day in life of a food truck owner?
Whenever I figure that out, I can, but it's different every single day. Definitely it's got some obstacles. I feel like every day I'm figuring out something new or trying to solve a problem that I did not realize I was going to have. And
what would that look like? Like if you had a problem, like what would that look like?
Well, like recently after my wheels and tires got stolen, I had to deal with that. Insurance and everything took care of it.
Okay, so since you opened that, I wasn't going to bring that up because it's a wound right now. So you might as well just go back and start with that story.
Oh, the story. Yeah, I got a phone call one day asking if I decided to take my own wheels and tires off of my trailer, which no, I did not. But I very shortly came up to my trailer to find that my wheels and tires were taken off. Thankfully, we have security cameras here on site, so I was able to see the footage of it being stolen, which was so sad. But that was difficult, not even necessarily to like get it rearranged to get my wheels and tires back on. It was more like that was just
like they stole your child, like part of your
you hurt
a limb. Yeah,
you
exactly.
hurt my feelings, person, whoever you are. You hurt my feelings, and that was really like the thing that got to me. And I was even talking to my boyfriend. He's like, "It's gonna be okay." I was like, "I know it's gonna be okay, but like that sucks." And I got over it, and it's fine now. But then after that, I came back in the trailer, and I realized my water wasn't working, and I was like, that's weird. And I flipped my water pump on, and then all of a sudden my water just starts like spraying everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh no. What else is gonna happen? So I had my trailer was open yesterday, but I had two guys in here basically with my sink completely out and like on my floor for a little bit while they were repairing my faucet, my water pump, and that was a little difficult to work around, but we did it. And I have water now and wheels and tires, so it's all good.
Oh my goodness. And how do you keep a smile on your face?
Oh, I mean, if you don't smile about it, what are you gonna do? Yeah. Mom paid too much money for this smile, so I got to smile.
That's true.
It's like you just got to get through it. You have to like think about no one really has it figured out. Like, everyone's just out here pretending that they got it figured out, and really no one does. Whenever you got a problem, everyone just has to figure it out and deal with it. And it's very easy to sit back and think like, oh, well, so and so would, like, this business would know exactly what to do, and they would take care of it better or do this or that. And it's so easy to compare. And you have to take a step back and like realize no business is exactly the same. No one's marketing to the exact same person that you are. And I mean, everyone is truly just trying to get by and figure it out too. So I don't think anyone necessarily has the answer. So that gives me a lot of comfort.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And do you, who tastes your food? So you throw something on bread and some dates and you're like, here, taste this. Yeah. Who's your taste tester?
So my mom is my biggest critic. And that is, I love her for it, because I feel like sometimes I have the people that I love taste testing something for me, and no matter what, they're going to tell me it's good. But the way my mom raised me, if I did something that wasn't necessarily like impressive, she was gonna let me know. She wasn't gonna lie.
I have a mom like that too. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, this doesn't taste right, or this, it could be tweaked this way. So it's good to have someone like that in your corner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What was one that you're like, oh, this is so amazing, and she tasted it and she's like, and you didn't put it on your menu?
The smoked salmon toast. She was convinced that no one would like it. She told me I should take it off my menu. Andrea, no one's going to want salmon on their toast. And it's my bestseller, Mom. My bestseller, just so everyone knows. Everyone loves it.
That's awesome. So what do you put with the salmon on the toast?
So I have cream cheese, hemp seeds, crushed arugula. I put salmon and then some seasoning on it, and capers with a little lemon slice. And I'm currently working on some house-made cream cheeses so that I can have a little signature cream cheese to put on that for my customers.
Ooh. Where do you get your inspiration or your recipes?
From everything I've liked in my life. Honestly, I created this menu based off of like what would be my ideal menu. Like, my boyfriend teases me because whenever he wants breakfast, he wants bacon and eggs and toast, and that's all he wants. And I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't just have bacon and eggs and toast, and he knows that, and he thinks I'm a little fancy for it, but I just have a different palate, and I need a little bit of variety. And the first time I ever had lox and bagel, I forget what it's actually called, but it was so good. It had smoked salmon and cream cheese and capers and avocado and just good ingredients, and I loved it. And I realized that I am a breakfast person. I'm just not a traditional breakfast person. So I basically created this truck for all the brunch girlies out there that like it just a little bit extra, and that's what I am. So that's who I provide.
I love it. So we have about a minute left, and at the end of the live stream, I always give the floor to my guest and provide some words of wisdom. So what would be your words of wisdom for our listeners?
Oh, just do it. If you have an idea and you want to do it, the only difference between someone out there who has something going on and you with the idea in your head is that they are just doing it. They don't know anything more. They are figuring it out too. And if you want something, honestly, figure out, don't think about it too hard, because I did not. I knew if I did that I would probably scare myself out of it, honestly. If I knew all the paperwork I was going to have to do, or the spreadsheets and stuff like that, I probably would have not done it. So I advise people to not think too hard. It's a short life we're living. Just do it.
Just do it,
Want to
huh?
do something. Step out of your comfort zone. We've always figured it out. So
That's great. One last question. Do you do anything with peanut butter?
I use almond butter. So I don't necessarily have peanut butter, which I haven't had too many people asking for peanut butter.
Okay.
So if I do, I will add it, no problem. I was actually just talking about that. If I have more than a couple people coming in asking for something, I have no problem to start whipping that on the menu.
Nice. The Facebook user said, "Oh, yum!" And so go visit Andrea over at what's the address over at Metro Eats?
2463 West Sunshine.
2463. I will put this in the chat. West Sunshine, and she is doing a promo of 50% off your first drink. So go over there, tell her Michelle sent you, and go meet her in person. And you're just a doll. I'm so glad that you came on my podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yes, you are so welcome. Oh, and she said, what is the restaurant? It is actually a food truck, and it's Simply Better Food Truck over at Metro Eats in Columbia, Missouri. Sorry, in Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield.
Isn't that funny how, like, that's where I'm from is Columbia, and so it just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Columbia, it's not Columbia. Do not go to Columbia.
Springfield.
You won't find it in Columbia. Springfield, Missouri. Yes. That's so funny. All right. Well, thank you. And everybody says it was nice meeting you, and thanks for sharing with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.